It is a beautiful morning here in Trinidad and Tobago. We are in the land of the living, and as we always say here, once we're alive, there's an opportunity to do things better today, to do things right, to empower somebody, inspire someone. And as we always start our mornings, we're starting with our daily inspiration. And today's daily inspiration comes from Booker T. Washington, and he says, if you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. And that is so important. If you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. The way you want to be treated, we treat others. We want to feel empowered, feel inspired. We encourage someone, whether it's a gentle word, a kind word, an affirmation, telling someone that they're doing a good job, because that's how we want to feel. And I've proven this to be true. Sometimes I may not be in the best mood or feel the most positive about myself. But when I tell someone else, when I elevate someone else, when I empower someone else and say, you're looking real good today, or that, you did that really well, it helps me feel better because they smile, they feel better about themselves, and I feel good about being good to them. So if you want to feel better about yourself, if you want to lift yourself up, then do something nice for someone else today. That's our daily inspiration today. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking to tutor about many of the matters that concern them, whether it's school violence, it's SCA, it's teacher negotiations. We're talking to tutor this morning. We're also going to be dealing with the UN Islamophobia Day. So we're going to be talking about that. It's new, and we want to get into that discussion. We're also going to be doing our author spotlight that we do every week. And closing off today's show, we're going to be talking about all things Tobago jazz. We ask you to stay with us as we go through the morning. We'll be right back after this break.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered,
the conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Only on WESN Content Capital.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship McLean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
Joining us via phone this morning, we're going to be speaking to Tutor, and we have Tutor's president on the line, Mr. Martin Lumking. Good morning, Mr. Martin. Hi, Mr. Martin. Good morning.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. How are you doing this morning?
I am fine, thank you. I'm actually on the way to Ministry of Education consultation with people. There is a committee formed on violence, and we are launching the violence, addressing violence, utilizing the public sector model.
Okay, understood. And since you brought that up, let's go straight into it. We're talking about, school violence. We've seen a lot of videos circulating. We've seen a lot of reports about violence in school, but it's, students against students, students against teachers or principals, students against security guards. We've even seen violence where parents have, jumped into the scene to defend their children as well. Talk to us about, the I guess, Tutor's take on the school violence, what Tutor, is thinking about when it comes to rectifying this. What are the solutions? This has been ongoing for many, many years.
Yes, as you rightfully pointed out, students in violence and discipline is not a new topic. It's not a new issue. It has been being the system for many years. The upsurge recently has been a concern for Tutor, and we realize that with the social media, the amount of media that we get coverage on social media,
yes.
It highlights it even more. But it's quite worrying because it, as you said, it sometimes involves our teachers having to intervene, and our teachers having to get away from the classroom and classroom teaching, and even the other aspects of teaching in order to intervene. And any form of violence in school will worry our educators, it will worry tutors as well too. And we feel that enough attention isn't being placed on it. Only when you get these upsurge and you get these incidents, then you hear about it. And then when it cools down, then the topic dies down. Now, the approach that the ministry is taking, we take note of it. We're having this consultation today with stakeholders, and we look forward to what will be presented. However, violence cannot be solved with a one area approach or one prong approach. It's a multidisciplinary, and it stems from deep concerns in the community and the country at large, because the school is a reflection of the community. It's a microcosm, and what takes place in the community will be reflected in school compound and community as well.
Correct. Yes.
So we have to really get to what is the root cause of crime and the violence and and go from there.
I know that there are like school guidance officers that used to be in the schools. Is this something that still is applicable today? Do we still have like school social services, school guidance officers, and so on?
There is the arm of the Ministry of Education, the Student Support Services Division, that deals with the guidance and counseling with special education, social work. But there are not enough persons. SSSD, as we call them, is understaffed and undermanned. That we under-resourced. We appreciate that economics plays a part in everything. But we are saying that these areas need to be beefed up.
Right.
An investment in education, in all aspects of education, will redound to the benefit of the nation as a whole. And that has to be clear. It is an investment we are making. And we cannot, look to cut corners in order to make things fit. And yet still, the system is going to be suffering. Our students are suffering. And so even the police service, they have their social workers as well too that goes out. The CTPS has the youth clubs, and I want to point out that in Tobago, there's a program of intervention that they go to school. Inspector Miller is heading that, but he's authorized involved as well too. But they are working and they are actually getting results. So it is a multidisciplinary approach that we have to take to address this situation.
Yes, understood. And the reason why I brought this up, because with these issues of school violence and stuff, and as you said rightfully, children acting out what they see at home and acting out what they're seeing in society, it definitely speaks to those deeper psychological issues, issues that they need to talk out, to, be heard and to really get to the root cause of it, right, in terms of emotions and intelligence and so on. What about peer counseling and mediation? I know that that's something that, there were programs in schools regarding peer counseling, targeting the children and getting them to really understand things on that deeper level so they can assist their peers.
Yeah, schools have been attempting to utilize those programs, but to me it's not as widespread as it should be.
Okay.
They utilize the peer counseling, but there needs to be a strengthening of it in order for the program to continue and for it to be, utilized throughout. And we always look to put plaster on sore. So we're always looking to intervene in schools that are deemed to be high risk or have a sense of violence and indiscipline. But what about the other schools that we don't, hear or in the media? That those programs are beneficial to those students in those schools as well. So you have conflict management and conflict resolution programs that can be utilized, and this will help them throughout their lifetime.
Yes.
So the thing is that, our education system is only concerned, mainly concerned with the curriculum, and we have these standardized tests that the children have to face at almost the end of their career, whether it's primary or secondary. And that has been the main focus of our education system. Education, and again, we at Teachers Day, we have to look at what is the purpose and nature of education. Is it just for to be certified and to face these examinations? Or is it for them to build their lives, make meaningful contributions to the country and to nation building? And so if we think of it in that way, then we will place emphasis and importance on other aspects, the curriculum, those programs that will help the children to cope with life and lifestyle, and health and safety, mental health. That's another area that we in the country feel is a taboo, but we have to face it. People go through challenges with mental health, and we have to stop hiding, putting our heads in the sand, and feel that it will resolve itself or it will go away. But we have to face these things head on.
Yes. On the same topic of school violence and intervention, we know that there are also outreach groups that have been going into the schools over the years, and I want to get Tutor's take on it. We have groups such as DMAD, as Two Cents Movement, as Roots Foundation, and other groups who have been going and talking to these children, reaching them through art, through spoken word, through theater, and all of these different things. How does Tutor feel about that? And is there some sort of welcome to them to come back into schools even more in a greater capacity?
Yes, we do welcome any program, any group that can assist in building our children, building their self-confidence as well too. When children don't achieve and they lack self-confidence, they look to and they will gravitate to institutions. So like, for example, that will welcome them. And it is something that we have to look at. And we welcome that once they work with the Ministry of Education permissions to enter the school. And we have to be cautious as well too on inviting persons into schools. That we have to make sure that the persons are well qualified and would really seek the interests of our children, because we are not too certain of persons out there who may purport to be professionals but may have ulterior motives.
Right.
However, welcome any intervention that can assist our children
Yes.
in the future.
Understood. Switching gears a bit, and we're talking now about issues that may affect students and teachers, from teachers from teaching in the classroom, students from attending classes. We've seen where in primary schools or secondary schools there are either sewer issues, there's structural issues that are hampering classes from being carried out, or even infestation. What is tutors' take on this, and what are the ways forward so that this does not hamper students from learning?
Any issue of health and safety would be a concern for our membership. And I want to point out the teaching conditions of our teachers are also the learning conditions of our students.
Yes.
And so whatever health and safety issues affect our teachers will effectively come back to the students as well and to the school. So we monitor the situation very closely. We have health and safety committees at our district level that are supposed to work with the Ministry of Education. And the Ministry of Education also has its health and safety committee, which I will say, I would have to work with tutor for the most part. So whenever we have, however, we are quite concerned that a number of our schools are aging.
Yes.
And enough emphasis is not placed on corrective measures and even preventative measures. So that, we wait until something happens and then we start to fix it. And so the number of sewer issues and other infrastructure issues as a result of the age of the school and us not, and when I say us, Ministry of Education generally, not doing preventative measures and dealing with the situation, before it gets to it. I want to point out that teachers have been working under these conditions for a long period, and it will take something drastic for them to actually have to take action and walk out, or I shouldn't say walk out, but invoke the the refusal to work.
Right.
Most times, they hold on, they try as best as possible because they have the children's best interests at heart. They will, think about that. But there are times, the last straw breaks the camel's back, and we have to take action. And also have the OSH agency come in to do assessment of refusal.
Right. Now we know, switching gears a bit again, because we have so much things to cover before you leave. Teacher wage increase, and negotiations. Tell us what's the status on that, and what is the way forward?
Presently, TUTA is working with attorneys and public sector economists in the person of Professor Roger Hussain, and we are preparing our evidence and arguments to be submitted to the Special Tribunal. As you're aware, we will refer to the Special Tribunal of the Industrial Court.
Yes.
And the General Counsel, the body within TUTA, which will give instructions to the negotiating team, has instructed us that we put the best arguments forward in terms of that trial. Trial comes up in the first one we have is May 13th. And so we are in preparation, and actually we have an emergency general counsel meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
And our general counsel will give our attorneys the instructions in terms of the salary and non-salary items that they will present to the court on our behalf. We are fighting for our teachers. We will continue to fight because teachers deserve the salaries that are commensurate with the duties they perform. TUTA believes and continues to fight because teachers contribute heavily towards national development. And apart from that, we all know the rising cost of living has been affecting many of us, including our teachers. Teachers also, besides perform their duties, they dip into their pockets to their students on many occasions. And it's becoming a little more difficult for them with the economic situation. And so we will be fighting for salaries that are deserving of our teachers.
Okay. And lastly, before we wrap up, we have the SCA examinations coming up soon, before the end of the month. Does tutor feel, satisfied in terms of preparations towards that? Even with these schools, these primary schools that may have been affected by issues, whether it's sewer or structural issues or pest infestation, do you feel confident that students have been given enough time to be prepared for the examination?
Yes, we are confident that our educators, administrators will do everything in their power to ensure that the examination runs smoothly, that it's been invigilated properly as well too. Tutor would want to encourage our members and our teachers to volunteer, because we are of the opinion that this is a voluntary procedure. That teachers will perform, educators will perform voluntarily. It's not part of this because it's an external examination. However, we would want to have the examination run smoothly for the sake of the children. The SCA and other, this is a high-stake exam.
Yes.
It's a placement exam. And we are quite concerned of the pressure that is placed on our children, our parents, and especially our standard 5 teachers and preparation for this. And I know there was a committee to look at the SCA as well too, and we look forward to the results of that, because we believe that our students at that age should not be enduring such pressure at that critical stage of their life.
Right.
And so we're really looking to see if there's an alternative method that you can use to have children go to secondary school. It's supposed to be universal primary and secondary education, whereby all children are entitled to it. I know places in secondary school is an issue, whereby you have to have this examination to have persons placed. But we are saying to the ministry that they need to address it at that end as well, to ensure that there are sufficient places at the secondary school, such that all children can get into secondary school, whether you have additional schools or you have other methods. We are saying that this placement exam places too much of pressure on the stakeholders there, and it really needs to be revised and put in the context of our children having better education and being able to contribute to society. So we are looking forward to that in terms of the SCA.
Understood. Thank you so much, Mr. Martin Lumking, for joining us this morning. On your way to the consultation, thank you for sharing with us. We would definitely check in for updates on that consultation and other issues surrounding tutor and the schools. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. And
no problem.
Let me wish everyone all the best for the day.
All right, you too. We're going for a quick break. When we come back, we have lots more in store for you. Stay with us.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Sight, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m., only on WESN, Content Capital.
Bill and Ruth fell in love with the Benjamin Moore color Dry Sage, but they tried to match it using another brand's paint.
I mean, it's close enough.
Almost identical, really. Yeah, there it is.
Never trust another paint to be a Benjamin Moore color.
We discuss gestational diabetes, a form of diabetes which develops in pregnant women. This medical condition can affect both the fetus and mother, but can be managed to ensure that you have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby.
From the first trimester, there's an increased risk of miscarriages, an increased risk of fetal abnormalities. So these are congenital. The baby could be born with an abnormality.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
People really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit?
Yes.
What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive, it is not rehabilitative.
We the police officers, we are professional and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole, it's for all of us in public.
Thank you for staying with us. Our next guest is in studio, and we're going to be talking about Islamophobia. Now, this is the UN's day to commemorate it, to remember, that we need to combat Islamophobia. And just before we start the interview, to give a definition of what that is, Islamophobia is the fear, prejudice, or hatred of Muslims that lead to provocation, hostility, and intolerance by means of threatening, harassment, abuse, incitement, and intimidation of Muslims and non-Muslims. And we're speaking today to our guest about this. We want to find out about, the thoughts behind this day, the UN commemorating this day, and also what it means for us locally. Joining me in studio is Mtima Salwati, founder and president of the Oral Tradition Roots Foundation. Good morning, Mtima.
Good morning, good morning.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. So, this...
pleasant morning to your viewing audience.
Yes. So this would be the first year that the UN would actually be commemorating this day. Talk to us, I guess, about your thoughts on this day, when you found out about it.
Well, when I read you just read part of the definition. Yes. When I read the definition, I was like, wow, they're on point in terms of explaining what this thing called Islamophobia is. Mm-hmm. And, it's as it started off, it's a fear, it's a hatred, it's a prejudice. And it really places a strain, a burden on you, the Muslim, because you have to now be always aware that somebody may hate you or fear you for no reason, mostly of your doing, right? And as you were saying before the show started, unfortunately the media got all wrapped into this whole Islamophobia. So in the reporting of incidents of crime, you will hear Muslim man or Muslim woman or Muslim, as opposed to just dealing with the crime or the issue right? And that really, really is burdensome.
Right. Let's backtrack a bit because we'll definitely unpack that.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be Islamic? And I guess what it means for you to be Islamic?
So I wasn't born into a Muslim family.
Okay.
Right? I grew up as a Christian, as an Anglican. And, you know, this is not about comparing, this is just my experience.
Your reality.
Yeah,
yes.
my reality. And, you know, becoming Muslim, for me, I have felt fulfilled. Now, if you ask a Christian or a Baptist or a Rasta, they may say the same thing about their faith, but
again,
that's
their
how,
reality.
Yeah, that's how I felt. There are challenges with the humans within Islam, because Islam is a perfect way of life. It's a system. It's a very perfect way of life. But we, as the individuals, the humans, we are imperfect. So some of the same challenges you'll face in society, right? People may want to say, no, you don't have that in Islam, which is racism.
Right.
But we behave in that way at times to each other, right? But overall, like my wife and I, we always say, if we didn't believe in this, we probably would have run from it. Because you have your challenges, then you have Islamophobia, then you always have to be trying to define and prove yourself. I am not a criminal, or I am not a terrorist, or I am not, as opposed to I am.
Okay.
You know, we always have to be fighting to say we are not. You know, but outside of that, you know, I feel very comfortable, you know. I enjoy being a Muslim. Ramadan is coming up sometime next week, you know, so we're looking forward to that fast that has come so natural to us over the years.
Right.
So I am comfortable. I am really comfortable as a Muslim.
Right. As you explained, and in every sect in society, you know, there are extremists. There are devout and then there are extremists. Talk to us about that, because we've seen that play out in the world, and then we've seen that play out at home as well too. And, you know, because of that, because of maybe one group or one sector within the religion, discrimination is now experienced throughout.
And going back again, let's look at the crime situation, right? And many years ago we heard, now gang culture is not new to Trinidad and Tobago, right? We have gang culture a long, long time. What we have a problem with now is the proliferation of guns, drugs, right, which go hand in hand.
Yes.
And the gang culture has become a little more violent, right? Now, we have young men calling themselves Rasta or Muslim. And, you know, I want to say this before I really delve into that. I blame the Muslim community for not addressing that issue when young men started to call themselves Muslim or Muslim city or whatever.
Right, in terms of the gangs.
Yeah, they took a hands-off approach.
Okay.
I was saying, if these guys identifying themselves as Muslim, we should engage them to let them know, hey, this is what Islam is about.
Okay.
It's not about selling drugs. It's not about robbing people. It's not about taking tax and all the criminal elements.
Okay.
So when these young men engage in these activities, and the Muslims, the adherents of the faith, not engage in them, right? We take a hands-off approach. What do you expect you, as a citizen of this country, a non-Muslim, to say when you're seeing that type of behavior, right? It's not right, but you will associate that with Islam.
Right, and that does not represent
No,
Islam.
right? So those things, as I say, I blame us for allowing that, because we should be engaging those young men.
Right.
Right now they move from Rasta and Muslim to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? But we have been, as I say, faced with this challenge of that type of violent, extreme behavior. Right? Now, I am very cautious when we kind of talk about violent extremism, because when I say violent extremism, globally, you have a kind of Muslim look on it, right?
Yeah.
But when they stormed the capital in D.C. That is violent extremism, you know.
Right.
But we didn't hear all the clamor and clap. But hey, you know.
It was
right?
linked to a religion or faith, or yeah.
It was the exercising their democratic right.
Right.
Right? But that behavior was a violent, extremist behavior. Right? So when we talk about violent extremism, we need to really address what that means outside of the context that hey, it's a Muslim thing. Because it's not a Muslim thing. Just like as we were saying earlier, domestic violence, crime, these things are human problems.
Right.
That because of Islamophobia, we attach that little Muslim brand on it. So whether it's what happened in 90, but then something happened in 70, right? Are the two the same? Or just because in 90 was Muslims and in 70 was what we call the Black Power Revolution, or the case may be. So, and this is not to justify either 90 or 70, because that's not the discussion, but that's just the lens we look at these things at. You know, I remember a member of law enforcement, we were talking, and he told me that, no, he ascribed his faith to be a Jew. He's a Jew.
Okay.
That's what he says, right? And he was telling me, I was very much surprised. He said that he got so engulfed in this whole Israel-Palestine issue that he and his wife were deciding to migrate to go and fight. Is that an extremist? And you know, I'm listening to this law enforcement person speaking to me, and you know, and we were talking, and he's saying that, you know, after he said that we do some more research, he realized that, hey, he got brainwashed into that whole, you know, Israel-Palestine situation. I have heard non-Muslims say to me in conversation, boy, they should kill out all the Muslims and them. I open my eyes wide, I say, wow. At one point, I tell myself, probably they forgot they're talking to empty man, the Muslim.
Right.
And just say, this empty man, be talking. That thought is not a violent extremist thought. So we really have to be careful how we unpack this term violent extremism, especially when we want to put a handle onto it.
Yes.
It's not a Muslim issue, it's a human
issue.
problem.
Talk to us about that lens with which we look at the religion. There are positives in the religion. There are things that we could admire. Talk to us about that in terms of the discipline, the commitment. Talk to us about those values.
So, last year, a group of brothers, we held an event called Emancipation Through Islam.
Okay.
I was interviewed right here by Andy about that program. And what was that? We were celebrating the achievements of African Muslims.
Okay.
Up to yesterday, I was telling a brother, I say, I tired see the image of us in a handcuff on the ground line down.
Yeah.
You know, on Beyond the Tape, on the crime watch, you know, always being fingered as that's the bad guy. But when we started that program, Dominic, I was surprised of the amount of achievements, and not in this era, going back to Muhammad Yunus Bath, right? Those who enslaved and brought here, and the contributions they made, being an enslaved human being, the contributions they made, and coming all the way down. And I say, wow, how, even being an African Muslim, I didn't know about these things.
Okay.
So they are so, listen, and doing that exercise last year, we are supposed to have it again this year. I felt even more proud to be a Muslim. Because I say, wow, hello, not just brothers, because we always feel the men, you know, women doing so much great things. Us Muslims, right? It is amazing. So, yes, these are things to celebrate, these are things I feel proud of. But again, it has been so overshadowed by the negatives. Right? Let me give this quick story. When I now embrace Islam, we were doing some work on the Martin Maxi stand.
Okay.
We were building it. I was part of that team. And during the break time now, all the workers, they sit down, you know, who drinking, they're eating the food, who smoking, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And I seen this old lady trying to fill a bottle, a gelita bottle, by a pipe.
Okay.
And she having so much trouble to fill it, and everybody there sitting there, and I said, no. So I got up. I said, Tanti, give me a bottle. And I filled the bottle for her. And I handed it to her. And Tanti said, oh, thank you, son. I know there must be a Christian in the group. And I said, no, I now became Muslim. So I'm proud. I said, no, Tanti, I'm a Muslim. And the fear that overtook that granny, in her trying to pull away from me, she almost fell down. And I say, it's the same individual. It's the same individual. All I said that, no, I'm not a Christian, I'm a Muslim.
Different faith.
How that changed?
Based on that, what is the message that you would want to drive home locally concerning, you know, the Muslims and concerning the Islamic faith?
I want us as a society to, well, as always say this publicly, first be honest with ourselves. That's the first thing. And you give that Muslim a chance. You know, you may know this person for years, and you know, I like this person, he's a good person. As soon as you hear he's a Muslim, everything about that person change. So you have to do a lot of work on yourself, because your perception of me has nothing to do with me. That's your perception. That's how you think about me, and you have to work on that. And trust me, yes, we have challenges. I saw your interview before. You have challenges in the schools.
Yes.
Is that a Muslim thing? You know, we have challenges all over. So don't use, it might be hard to swallow this, but please don't use one experience, one bad experience, to broad brush an entire faith, right? Because I've encountered bad experiences with a lot of non-Muslims, and I don't say all of all is that, or all of you all are this. I say that individual is a fool. You know?
Just before we wrap up, you know, we have to talk about Roots Foundation.
Yes.
Talk to us about Roots Foundation and the work that you're doing in the community amongst the youth.
So, well, we do a lot of work, but one of our main things is using that oral tradition, that spoken word poetry, to have young people express themselves and to share their lived experiences and social realities. Because a lot of young people, they have things to say, they may not know how to put it across. Right? And we give them that platform. We are not the only one, because I heard they mentioned some of the runners in your last interview. But what makes our program, I think, and I believe unique, is that we focus on first that expression.
Okay.
Because you know about poetry, you're in the scene. But we don't start off with getting the similes and the metaphors and all the literary devices intact. We want to hear how you feel it.
Your story.
Yeah. And then we could shape it.
Right.
But giving those young people that opportunity to speak and say how they feel, you know, it's really powerful.
Okay.
And our programs has been expanded, so we do media, we involve in festivals, as you would know.
Yes.
It's coming up soon, our Cascado Festival. But as I say, we create that platform for them to just share.
Right. If persons want to find out more about the Roots Foundation, where can they find you or get in contact with you?
Well, we're on the social media handles, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But it's easier to find us on Facebook. Right? And then from there, you could branch off to the other handles. If you want to contact, well, I put out my number, it's not a private number, 479-4510, 479-4510. And yeah, let's talk.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mtima, for
Thank you
joining
very
us
much.
today. We appreciate you. Have a great day. We take a short break. When we come back, we have a lot more in store. Stay with us.
The best birthday gifts are at thebesttoys.com. Shop for the best brands you love at the best prices. Like VTech, Leapfrog, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Cocomelon, LOL, Baby Alive, Crayola.
Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 32DBEST to order. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the content capital.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Paul?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Thank you for staying with us. Our next segment, Author Spotlight, we're going to be featuring a special author with us. We have Keon Francis, and he's the author of the book, Children of the Eternal Mother novel. Welcome to AM Prime, Keon Francis.
Hi, good morning to you. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you for being here with us. How are you doing?
I'm cool. I'm good.
Okay, so tell us a bit about Keon Francis, so persons who don't know. Tell us about yourself.
Well, Keon Francis is, at this point in time, an author. Yay! I would have started my career in the arts as an actor. In secondary school, I performed for secondary school drama festival.
Okay.
I also participated in Best Village as an actor, and then as I got older, as a writer, director. before I went to the University of the West Indies to study theatre arts and creative writing, which is the foundation for this book. Yeah.
Tell us about this book.
Well, at its core, in terms of the story, basically tells, well, an ancient evil has returned, and to save their realm, two young people must overcome their biases and ignorance to claim the only power that could defeat them, that of the betrayers. It follows these two young people on their journey of self-discovery, and to try and claim a power that they both fear for different reasons. What is unique about it, or not necessarily unique, but I think what is pertinent for Trinidad and Tobago is that I utilize Caribbean and Trinidad and Tobago folk and carnival characters and traditions in the telling and weaving of the story.
Why was it important for you to do that?
Well, as a child, I was an avid reader. I read a lot. I was always in, I grew up in San Fernando, and Gasparilla. So I was always in San Fernando Library on High Street from a young age, from primary school. But one of the things that I always lamented was that I couldn't find many novels that spoke to me and my culture. And I love fantasy. So, you're reading books with dragons and wizards and goblins and orcs and all these type of things. But then I got into Best Village and I started learning about Papa Bois and Laja Bless. And all these characters. And I couldn't find books that speak to those things. So as I got older, I participated in Best Village, and I started to participate in the annual Cambule reenactment. That takes place Carnival Friday morning, Piccadilly Greens. And from that, I started to learn even more about my culture. I learned about our carnival characters and the history and the African influence on carnival, etc., etc. And that inspired me to write a play. I wanted to see these characters utilized in a story as characters. So I set about writing this play. And I wrote the play. And when I wrote the play was Tales of Nikaval, the Uniting of Dinadrat. So that was the first name. That was the first name of this book. And after writing the play and seeing the effect that it had on the participants, on the actors, because at that time I was working in Caratal Youth Creations, directing, writing for Best Village. And I saw the impact of them learning about these characters that they wouldn't have really known about, because we had the bats, we had cow bass, we had dragon band and all those type of things. So I decided, no, I need to write this into a book.
We're going to go to a short break, but when we come back here and we want to talk about adapting a play to a book and the challenges that would have come up with that. We take a short break, go to news, and we'll be right back.
Here's your WESN News on the Hour. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Works Minister boasts of Beetham Highway road paving exercise. Man killed in Tortuga. Scrapyards still closed. And internationally, Russian jet collides with U.S. drone over Black Sea. Now for the details. Minister of Works and Transport Rohan Sinanan is boasting of completed road paving works along the Beetham Highway. The minister joined the crew on Monday night along the eastbound lane near the Sealots walkover.
Next week we'll be spending a lot of time down in the south and central area where we have road paving going on as we speak. So again, I just want to ask the citizens to bear with us. There will be some inconvenience as we continue this program.
One man is dead following a shooting in Tortuga on Tuesday. Reports say 33-year-old Ganesh Diopasad of Tortuga was found at his home. His body bore gunshot wounds. Police are continuing investigations into the motive for the killing. The Trinidad and Tobago Scrap Iron Dealers Association is advising that due to lack of all the support requirements, including the scrap metal inspectors and all the other systems that are to be administered by the Ministry of Trade and Industry and other agencies, many scrapyards are unable to purchase materials from collectors. Some scrapyards are in possession of their export license. However, due to the lack of support, systems are unable to load and ship, resulting in administrative barriers. TTSIDA is working to assist as much as possible, but due to this extended closure, many small yards are forced to be closed permanently. The association is requesting that the administration prioritize their efforts to bring relief to the poorest of the poor in this country. In international news now, a Russian fighter jet has collided with a U.S. drone over the Black Sea, forcing the U.S. to bring down its unmanned aircraft, the American military said. It says the drone was on a routine mission in international airspace when two Russian jets tried to intercept it. The unsafe and unprofessional act by the Russians nearly caused one of the fighter jets and the drone to crash, the U.S. European Command added. The U.S. and allied forces will continue to operate in the area. Well, that was your News to the Hour on WESN. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for staying with us. We are speaking to Keon Francis, and he's an author. We're talking about his book, and you were just telling us, Keon, about adapting your play to now works of literature. So tell us about that process, because that would not have been easy.
Well, no. So I think I would faster use, rather than say adapting, I would say converting.
Okay.
Because it was more of a conversion. Because the two media, while they do utilize the core elements of story, conflict, etc., it really is two different media. So there's a lot that went into the novel that I had to build on the play, because a play is still a 90-minute, creature.
Right.
So I had to build on that so that the actual final product of the book is so much more than I had initially in the play. I'll never forget my first version, because I studied creative writing specifically because I wanted to do justice by the work. So I went back to the University of the West Indies to do my master's in creative writing.
Okay.
I made the decision to let that be my master's, which I could then use as a stepping stone to go on to my PhD. And the very the very first chapters I wrote, and I presented to my Professor Hayat. I remember them reading the chapters and saying, but there's half of the book, because it was so condensed, the information that I didn't, so I had like 5 chapters, and they told me these 5 chapters are actually like 15 chapters or 20 chapters. Yeah. So it really was a work in progress to grow and understand how to, weave a story and really express and expound in a way that would be sufficient for the reader, as opposed to putting it on stage.
Yeah, I want to go back to something you said, because you mentioned, before, you being a child going to the library, and reading, but not seeing yourself in the books that were presented. Talk to us about the importance of that, and how does that challenge you now to make a difference where that is concerned in terms of the lives of the young people that exist today?
Well, I think that's extremely important, because I only grew in my sense of self when I began to be exposed to my own culture and traditions and that type of thing through Best Village, you know. And it made a difference to me in my life in terms of understanding who I am and where I am and where I come from. You know, that plays a critical role. And just the idea of seeing yourself.
Right.
Because the other day, I'll age myself. I'm 38 years old. And up to 4 or 5 years ago, I realized that I still read white. And when I say read white, is that I will be reading a book or listening to an audiobook that explicitly has Black or African characters. And I will still be seeing them with blonde hair and blue eyes in my mind.
Okay.
You know?
That conditioning.
Yeah, and that's a problem. That's a problem. So that speaks to being able to see yourself. And I think that's really the importance of this work and why I really wanted to do this work. So I have applied to the Ministry of Education for the possibility of trying to go to schools to speak to, well, the more adult students, Form 5s and 6s, because it is a more, you know, a new adult novel. It's not for necessarily a young adult novel, right? But to speak to like Form 5s and 6s, because of, not really just to promote the novel, but to probably show them, speak of my journey, speak of what I went through, and speak of the idea of having a dream and fighting and working towards that dream, because it's important, and we need more people to have dreams and be willing to put in the work that it takes to get it, because I started this process in 2006 with a play.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Keon, and I think it's really important that young people see a living example of, you know, commitment, passion, sacrifice, and now see the actual product before their hands and get to read this book. Where can persons find this novel?
Well, right now you can find the novel in Port of Spain. You can check Metropolitan Bookstore on Arpita Avenue, paper based at Normandy Hotel, Blue Edition in Tunapuna, as well as the San Fernando Creative Arts Center in San Fernando.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and of course, if you know me personally, I'm a number, give me a call and we could arrange a drop-off as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Keon.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. All the best on your journey in this creative way where you're going to empower these young persons with your story.
Well, I'm definitely trying.
Okay.
Definitely.
We take a short break. When we come back, we still have a lot more in store for you before we wrap up today's show.
The best laptops and tablets are at dbesttoys.com. Get a Gateway 14.1-inch Ultra Slim notebook or an HP 14-inch laptop at the best prices in TNT. Get the Fire 7 tablet for $474. You can also shop the latest Amazon Fire Sticks. Call now at 32-DBEST to order or visit us in-store at Forces flagship MacBean. Shop online now at dbesttoys.com. Free delivery available throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Cash or links on delivery.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
But if we died with Christ, we have faith that we will also live with him. We know that Christ has been raised from the dead, and he will never die again. Death no longer has power over him. He died to sin once and for all with his death, but he lives for God with his life. Join WESN as we explore the death and resurrection of Christ with He is Risen, a perspective from varying leaders within the Christian faith. He is Risen, starting March 27th, only on WESN, the content capital.
Thank you for staying with us. On this segment of Up Next, we're speaking about Tobago Jazz Festival. So all things Tobago Jazz. And joining us in studio is John Arnold. He's the CEO of Tobago Festivals Commission. Good morning, Mr. Arnold.
Morning to you, morning to your viewers.
Thank you for being here with us in studio.
Yeah, fortuitous.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. Tobago Jazz Festival.
Yes.
Tell us about what are the thoughts concerning it as we prepare for it? It's fast approaching. What's going on? How does it feel?
Yeah, I mean, we're all excited because it's the return.
Yes.
It's the festival coming back after a 3-year hiatus.
Yes.
So with that, we're trying to keep a more compact show. And we're working with very, very strict budgets. And we're trying to make it, again, with the theme, much more than music.
Right.
So we want to talk about those things in Tobago that people can really enjoy. This week I posted an experience, the hummingbird experience. I went to a nature trail that we have up on Bloody Bay, Sherland's Nature Trail. And I was showing people how, if you hold the sugar ball, how the birds actually flutter around you.
Wow.
And actually, really nice experience. The birds land on your finger and so on. Tobago has so much more to offer than just music. So I like to position the festival as a festival that brings visitors to the island.
Yes.
But you experience a destination, you know, that offers all these other things.
Yes, because I was going to ask you, in terms of the festival, we know there are other jazz festivals in the region, but what makes this one unique, and especially promoting the island and the beauty of Tobago?
Right, so I think over the years, you know, the models have changed. You would remember the early days of 2005, 2006, when we had Sting and Elton John, and we had CL Financial backing us. And then 2008, we moved it to the Tobago Jazz Experience, which we still have going on. There are two things I think about the festival. One is the eclectic blend. So we don't only have jazz artists. You see jazz artists. You also have reggae artists. This year we've added the gospel jazz as a new thing for that. And again, in the gospel realm, there's so many diverse, subgenres that I think that makes that interesting also. So we have a 3-day offering. Thursday the 20th will be at Chopper for the gospel night. And then Saturday the 22nd, we're at Speyside, which is going to feature a lot of the soca and the reggae.
Okay.
Our headlines, that's Richie Spice, Everton Blender, but we also have Nyla Blackman, second star from Trinidad, and from Tobago, several of the other acts like Garden Night and so on. On Sunday, we are at a place that we configured with greens, grounds, and VIP.
A full experience.
Yeah. At Parade Grounds, which is close to Dwight York Stadium. And the headliners there would be Boyz II Men, Coffee. We also have Sharon Phillip.
Yes.
And we also have Vonette Bickford, along with Terrence Short, Tony Paul. And so it's jazz, it's crossover, it's crossover reggae, it's R&B, you know. So I think, I like to say that I think we offer a really nice, eclectic blend.
Right.
Yeah.
Two things. What does it mean for the Tobago artists in particular to be on these stages? Because I mean, we have talented Tobago artists.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be on these stages. They're going to be seen not just around the world, from the world itself and the region, but also Trinidad, seeing these Tobago artists shining.
And I am so glad you said that. You know why? Because one of the things my principals have insisted on is the fact that we've got to provide the showcase platform for Tobago artists.
Yes.
And we have over 12 artists from Tobago that are going to be featured during that time. We have people like Anikwa.
Yes.
You probably know as Kwakwa. We have people like Stephanie Joseph, Sharon Phillip, of course. We have people like Franz Job. We have Cats and Jammers, the steel band, that's going to be there. We have several. That on the gospel realm, we have Positive, Blessed Messenger. So I think the mixture and the richness of the Tobago acts, I think is going to be really, really a good addition to the festival. That's a good question.
Yeah. What goes into the planning of an event of this nature, this magnitude, and we're still coming out of the pandemic? You know, we would have had Tobago Carnival, but this is a totally different ball game. So tell us about the nature, what's going into the planning and execution of this event.
Yeah. So what you have is that the Tobago Festival Commission, as you know, our mandate is to research, plan, design, and coordinate these festivals. So what we have is a really great team, and then we also work with some of the agencies, like TTAL, the tourism agency, work with TPAC. We also work with the division itself, right? And basically we work with Shaw Park Complex. The idea here is really all agencies of THA collaborate with us to really make sure that this thing comes off successfully. We have 9 subcommittees, which technical, logistics, transport, accommodation, the secretariat, and each has their roles and responsibilities. Marketing, ticketing, sales, and that is critical. Because what we do there is all of these subcommittees have to deliver under their roles, and then we meet as a committee and we pang it together.
Yeah,
it's critical.
Yes, a big operation.
Yeah. We also have to work with the outside agencies like CAL for airlift, and the port for sea transport. So all of this, I mean, it costs a lot of coordination. Getting, you know, hospitality, riders coming in, technical stuff. It costs a lot, but I must say that right now we are blessed with a great team. Really, really great team. It's a team effort.
A team effort, definitely. For persons who would have attended Jazz Festival in the past, talk to them and talk to persons who would be coming for the first time, like myself. What can we expect at the festival? We talked about the lineup and all of that, but what is the experience and the takeaway you would want us to leave with?
Right. So the first thing I would tell you is that you need to see it as a collection of experiences. So I think the music is understood. You're going to get the tickets, and we can talk about the prices and all that. But the tickets, that's the easiest part. Our website is actually TobagoFestivalsCommission.com.
Yes.
Really and truly, the amount of things they had to do in Tobago, it's amazing. I just gave you one.
Yes.
And for me, you know, I'm encouraging people, you got to do that. We have the bioluminescent tours, which is when you go to the mangrove and you see the algae and you can see them all lighting up and so on. We have No Man's Land. We have the Nylon Pool. What about the main ridge? birding. There are tour guides who can actually tell you, stop, listen, wait. You see, this bird is coming here now.
Wow.
I mean, that's Little Tobago.
Yes.
I've been there recently. Amazing trails, amazing. And I think there's so much to do. I mean, I don't know how many people have gone to Pirates Bay, right? Down, nearly, I don't know if it's 100 steps to go down to Pirates Bay in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
But there's so many experiences. And then, you know, villages like Castara, which is really, really welcoming to visitors, right? You can witness what's happening with fish, seine pulling, you know, the real old-time stuff, heritage. So there's a lot to do. And then we have great restaurants.
Yes.
I can tell you that because I'm a fine diner. I love to go to new restaurants. Love it. We can tell you that. And then the people, I mean, it's just... So I think what I would like to tell people is you have to plan it as a holiday that entails all the experiences. The music is what I would say the filling on the ice cream.
A byproduct, yeah.
Yeah. That's how I see it.
Yes.
But we welcome everybody. You're going to have, in the case of the space side, you're going to have a VIP section and a general. At Parade Grounds on the International Night. You have a VIP area. We have drinks inclusive. And then we have screens. And on the greens, you can use your cushions, blankets.
You can get comfortable.
Yeah, you can get comfortable. Right? The only thing is that we're not allowing is coolers.
Right.
But everything else will be there.
Okay.
Lots of sponsors, a lot of agencies that are going to be having giveaways, you know, lots of products, you know. It's going to be really, 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 really nice. But I think more than that is people have to come and experience the destination.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to keep saying that.
You definitely have a renewed excitement about this experience.
Yeah, the return.
The return, yes.
The return,
Tell us again the website that persons can
visit. TobagoFestivalsCommission.com, and our number is very easy. It's 639 441.
Okay.
4441.
Okay, and on social media, Tobago Festivals.
And we are on social media at Tobago Festivals. All those, that handle, you can use it right through.
Yes, okay, good.
Yeah,
We're really, really thankful that you came to share with us.
Thanks a lot. I'm in Trinidad talking to sponsors.
Okay.
So I was really glad when you called me.
Nice.
And, you know, we can make this happen.
Okay, great. And we have a clip of Sharon Phillips should have performed at something that Tobago Festivals would have had, an emancipation show. So let's toss to that, take in that clip, and then we wrap up the show.
There's a force stronger than nature that keeps her will alive. She cries to the heavens above. There is a star brand new shoes. It hurts like brand new shoes. There is a woman in Mariah, scraping for pearls by the roadside. Now the same sun that we lay under burns her to the bone. It's gonna take her to get home. I'm crying to you from the heavens above. There is a storm in my heart. I'm living a life I didn't choose, and it hurts like brand new shoes. Hurts like brand new shoes. Thank you. Thank you.
Throwback there of Sharon Phillips at a Tobago Emancipation Heritage event, and we are looking forward to Jazz Festival. We thank you for staying with us through such a beautiful show, where we did so many interviews on topics that matter. We encourage you, if you have any interviews that you want to do with us, you can always reach out to us via email amprimewesn@gmail.com, or you can call or WhatsApp us at 868-620-1331. We hope that you have a great day today. We hope that you remember that if you want to feel better about yourself, if you want to lift yourself up, remember to lift someone else up. Have a great, safe, and productive day. Bye-bye.